How you doing?
How are you?
Oh,
Good.
Mike,
Great. How are you, Kara?
when it comes to your next opponent, will you start work on both teams tonight or wait till you see?
No, I mean we have to. Again, there's two things here that we're working on today. We have to be able to, identify some things that we can, reasonably try to correct and enhance. And then the other one's looking, trying to prepare for an opponent that we won't know who it is until tonight. So we'll have to do work on both teams, and we'll have to be ready to go. And that's just how it is.
Mike, I think Mike Williams is one of the few players you guys signed this offseason where you guys didn't really have a history of coaching him on the staff. Have you engaged with his leadership, toughness, things that you've seen from him behind the scenes?
Yeah, I mean, we did a lot of work on Milt coming out, and like a lot of teams. But I would say that everything that we thought of him coming out is exactly what we saw in Philadelphia and then saw here. And so, I think his consistency has been really good. His leadership, and certainly has come up in big moments.
Mike, how much did you know about Caleb on Jason before this year? How impressed have you been his contributions?
Again, probably did some work on him coming out. Went through a process there in the off season, and Casey's one of those players that have been a couple different places, and was trying to make the best decision for him and his family and his career, which I can appreciate. So, went back and forth, and there was talks and conversations, and was glad that he was willing to join us, and glad he's had success, and he has done a great job, and we'll need all those efforts moving forward. But he's into it. He's here a lot and fought through the bumps and the bruises of an NFL season, and so again, all the credit goes to him. But I think that wasn't something that was just cemented on one day. I mean, I think it was some conversations, as we worked through free agency and what his plans were and what the vision that we had for him.
A lot of talk this season about strength of schedule. What does a win last night just mean for the team and mean for the season?
It means we get to keep playing, so that's what that means. It means we're not on vacation.
Mike, how important is timing? And maybe even just getting reps together for those guys up front for you defensively when you're running those 3-man games. I'm thinking of the strip sack yesterday. Do those guys need a lot of reps together for those things to work?
Well, I just think that there's a lot of, the more that you can work with the guy next to you, I think the better. Sometimes it's, you're getting a different look based on their protection, or do they jump you? Do they soft set? Are they sliding? Whatever it may be. So the more that you can get a look at those things and be able to work with the guy next to you, how the guy's setting it up, how your guy is blocking you, and your ability to get where you need to get to. So the more reps that we can get at any type of combination with more than one player is important, whether that's a route concept with two guys, or pass rush games, or offensive line or blocking. I think anytime that you're dealing with two players that have a responsibility, or more players, the more reps, the better.
You had a few guys last night came back after kind of an extended period of ALS Roberts. How do you look? Did you he held up?
Yeah, I mean, I thought he held up okay. I think that they, there's going to be some plays that he's going to want to improve on, and game conditioning and all those things, and the motion, and but we got great efforts from everybody, and Robert and Harold, who hadn't been out there, helped us win. They're all part of this victory.
A lot of your downfield success in the passing game came from some heavier groupings. What were the Chargers doing that maybe made it tougher to get downfield from their lighter personnel, and what were the advantages that you saw in some of those base packages?
Well, they rush, and they've got a good front, and further you want to throw the ball downfield, the longer that you have to protect. And I think they play certainly a very good pass defense, and different shells, and whether they're man or post safety, and they're, pushing somebody back out there. And again, I think that being able to mix up the personnel groups is something that, we've tried to do, that other teams try to do. No different than the Chargers, and early on going in 22 personnel and trying to get a play action pass out of there and trying to get, some route to Gatson or something. And so, being able to mix personnel and staying balanced out of each personnel, I think is critical.
Mike, talk about the growth of Andy Borregales from what he dealt with in training camp and adversity a little bit during the year, and what sort of automatic a lot of times, when you're not talking about a kicker, a lot of times he's doing his job. Can you just talk about him?
Yeah, I think that first of all, his demeanor, I think, has been great. It's been consistent. Just keep kicking and keep learning and practicing, and kicking in the elements and kicking on different side. It doesn't really seem the things affect him. So again, all the credit to Andy for remaining consistent mentally, and has made some big kicks for us. So I'm sure that's helped his confidence.
Coach, any thoughts on 2-point conversion after?
Yeah, obviously, some thoughts there, and then just thinking that maybe we'd get a couple more possessions where the field goal could probably get us to 8, but could easily have done that. And proud of the guys. Really, the sudden change all night and situational football was really good.
Coach, you were here for a lot of big games in the past. Just first playoff game in 6 years here last night. What'd you think of the atmosphere?
I thought it was amazing. I think it starts with our willingness to play to a style that our fans appreciate. We've talked about that since as long as I can remember, that if we play to a certain style, and they'll embrace that, and they'll cheer for us. I think that what we do here from the stadium perspective and the introductions and the fireworks, and that's all part of it. And we're the entertainment business, and we have to provide things for people to get excited about. So I appreciate the way that our fans have been here, and I appreciate the way that they've traveled, and I can't say enough about them.
It's really good. The fans just telling us out in the parking lot that they just love the personality of this team. Can you describe the personality, and is it playing a role in the winning?
We try to embrace what we do, where we do it, and who we do it with, and we try to enjoy all those things as well. So I want them to enjoy coming to work. I want them to embrace the hard work and all the effort that goes into it. Then I want them to enjoy playing together, playing with a style, and having their own personalities.
Mike, back to the concussion protocol, and what do you think of his performance before he left the game?
Well, Christian, Gonzo remains, continues to play at a high level. And those are the expectations that he has for himself, and that we have for him. And I would say that he would be in the protocol. And so how long that lasts, I don't know. But when you don't return to the game, when they won't let you go back in the game, that would put him in the protocol. So wherever that goes, that goes. But we appreciate what he's done and his willingness to line up different places. And, that's not quite as easy as we've been through this, but different coverages and locations and motions and things like that. So he's handled that all really well. And hopefully we'll get him back.
Mike, from back to Caleb he was a first-round pick years ago, bounced around, as you mentioned. This is his best season of production. What has he done to kind of unlock himself, and what have you guys done to kind of get the talent that he was known for to work for you?
Yeah, everybody has a different journey to this career, and, in the NFL. And, I think he's worked really hard. I think he plays hard. I think he does, his motor runs hot. I think he has a good get off and multiple moves. I think Smitty has worked hard with that entire group. I go back to training camp, and KC's willingness to play special teams and to play on a punt team for us, and play a lot of snaps when guys were, banged up, and then he kind of got banged up, and he didn't ask to be taken off in the punt team. And glad that we found guys that can, help him on that unit. But he's in every one of the meetings. He's taking reps in practice. He's ready to go on that unit. So I think that's probably been the thing that's impressed me the most, was his willingness to be a part of the special teams and what we're doing on fourth down and how important that is.
Actually, Ellis obviously won the game, so it's not like it came back to hurt you, but I'm just curious how you felt about the run-pass split for you guys. It felt like, Ramondre was running it and Jigba pretty effectively. I think he only finished with 10 carries.
Yeah, we'll evaluate that and kind of see where it is. And, I think that there was, I don't know. Again, we were able to stay balanced. Some of those, check downs, I felt like were part of the idea. What these guys are going to take some of this stuff away. I give Drake credit. We get one tip there trying to get it to a back that gets intercepted. We come back the very next drive, we're on the 2-yard line, and he's throwing that thing from his end zone, and they don't cover the back. They blitz, don't cover the back, don't cover Ramondre. So to me, that's like a long handoff, and that was a huge play in the game. And for Drake to be able to come back and do that and say, hey, there's a guy that's standing here getting ready to jump up and bat the ball, and I'm going to, make sure that I throw it around him, I thought was a big play. So, whether we hand it, whether we throw it, whether we throw it to Hunter, whether we throw it to Diggs, we just clean execution. And then once that happens, we see guys transitioning and blocking and let the identity take over and take care of football better and all that other stuff.
Who came across as pretty bold, I think, in this play.
Yeah.
What do you think about that and what type of growth have you seen?
Well, that's not easy to do. I told him I hope that I know that will help a lot of people. And he's I would say, private person, but I have seen a lot of growth from him personally. It's important to him. I think his team means a lot to him. He competes. We've always, he seems to always kind of come through when we need him, just like he did again last night. And for him to be able to open up and share those things publicly, as candidly as he did, I was really proud of him. Said that immediately, when I saw it. And I think it just shows a lot of growth, and, that's not easy to do.
What did you think of the left side of the offensive line with Will and Jared and how they did runs?
Had some good plays. Had some plays they'd like to have back. So when can evaluate everybody and say that they had some good plays in the run game. They had some good pass protections. Gave up a sack. Kind of can't get pushed back in, and then if we're cutting a guy, we're trying to get rid of the ball, and so we got to get rid of the ball, and Drake knows that. So that's how it goes. We just put 65, 70 plays out there. There's going to be some good ones. There's going to be some bad ones, and hopefully there's not too many of them that get you beat.
Christian Ellis is a player who's made some plays for you guys on special teams and defense. I'm curious how you've seen him grow in your system this season.
Yeah. Again, he has a certain skill set. He can, he can run. He's been able to cover. We've blitzed him. Really, is a lot of versatility. Try not to overload him with a bunch of different positions, but he spied the quarterback last night when he extended and went out, came to balance, made a tackle. And it's not easy to do on an athletic quarterback like Herbert. He comes to work every single day, trying to get better, trying to improve run reads, fits, awareness, communication. That's what I appreciate the most about Christian, is that he just doesn't come in with any preconceived notions. He comes in with a willingness to improve. And I would say that nobody spent more time with coaches than Christian. Training camp, OTAs, trying to get it right, try to study. And again, he's been a factor for us in fourth down and a factor for us on defense as well. So we're going to need everybody this week again, just like we did last week.
Coach, how are you feeling with your lip?
Last question.
Nah, my lip's fine. I've been hit hard on that.